Hey, this is Reverend Bill, and tonight I am going to review Daredevil Born Again. I watched it last night, the first two episodes. Now, I know that a lot of people are really thrilled about this. I think IMDb gave it like, I want to say like an 8.5, maybe even an 8.7. I don't really remember. Um, I got to tell you, I didn't like it. I'm a Daredevil fan, by the way. The original Born Again by Frank Miller back in the '80s. I was that crowd that read it. And this is not that Born Again. I guess they already did that Born Again in the old series. I don't know. The whole thing's kind of messed up. But anyway, let's just look at this on a basis individually. So, first of all, it starts off with bad CGI, and I'm going to try not to throw too many spoilers out there. Uh, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be throwing out anything too you know important. But the CGI was really bad. I was pretty shocked at that. So that really got me off to a bad start. Um, then there was a thing where um, oh, what's his name? Uh, Bullseye. That's sorry, Bullseye. Yeah, he was trying to find Foggy. Now he had to call Benny, a guy Benny that knew Foggy. Foggy was at a bar down the street from his house, and I'm Bullseye couldn't find Foggy. He needed to get in touch and threaten Benny to find Foggy. Well, why could he just walk down the street and check out the bar he hangs out in? I mean, it's like that's what I would have done if I was Bullseye. Okay, so there's that thing. I'm scratching my head, going, what kind of supervillain is he if he can't find Foggy, who's at his neighborhood bar down the street from his apartment? Okay, he's got to find another guy and scare him or whatever he did to him to get the information out that yeah, Foggy's at his bar down the street where he hangs out. Anyway, apart from that, one thing I didn't really care for is that the characters didn't really seem to be themselves. Obviously, Daredevil was basically a lot of Matt Murdock. So there's Daredevil, not Daredevil, and then the Kingpin wasn't being the Kingpin anymore. He's kind of running for mayor or something. So the Kingpin's the king. It's not the Kingpin. Daredevil's not Daredevil. So right there, I'm like, why are we watching it? Let's see. Also, I found that if you had not watched the original series or followed the comic books, if you were just watching this cold, and you got to remember the original series, I believe, came out like 10 years ago. So there was a lot of people that probably were too young or didn't watch the original one, and they're just hopping on board here. They're probably not going to know what's going on, who they are. They don't know who Karen Page is or Foggy or anything. And they're just, it's assumed that they're just going to pick things up. And maybe, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I go back 40 years reading Daredevil, but from my vantage point, I think it would be very difficult for a person who's not familiar with the material to just sit down and pick this up right away. I think a lot of people are going to be lost. There's also a scene where Bullseye is running from Daredevil, and as he's running away, he's killing everybody. And okay, I get it. Bullseye's a bad guy. Okay, yeah, he's a bad guy, but he's not a moron. I mean, if you're running away, why would you stop to kill people you don't care about? I mean, the idea would be to get around. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I mean, he's supposed to be a professional criminal. Number one, he can't find Foggy. And number two, as he's running away, he's got to stop and kill people he's never met before, has nothing against. Doesn't really sound like this guy's top-notch supervillain to me, but okay, whatever. I found the dialogue was clunky. There was some dialogue between Kingpin and Vanessa that I just found very cringy. I think the writing needs to work better on the scripting. It didn't. Yeah, it didn't. It was. it was like these two people were strangers meeting for the first time, and they were, husband and wife. So that was a problem. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, one of the things I didn't like is the fact that he didn't have really any sounding boards. Back in the old days, he was kind of brooding, not as bad as Angel, but I mean, Angel from the Buffyverse. But yeah, he can be brooding. But the thing is, he would hang out with Foggy and Karen, and they would bring it out, and he would talk to them, and they'd go to the bar and have a couple of drinks, and he would open up, and then with Elektra too. I think he had a relationship with Elektra where they could talk. He didn't have any of those. He just had this guy Cherry, who was a professional, uh, I don't know, private detective, I guess, is what his job title is. And he's not going to confide in him. So he's just walking around brooding, and you really don't know what's going on. So I didn't really find that to be a good device because, again, he's just walking around brooding all the time. And there's nothing worse than a moping daredevil, right? So then there was the marriage counseling that Kingpin and Vanessa went to. Now, I have actually been to marriage counseling, unfortunately, but we don't want to get into that right now. But with their marriage counseling, I was sitting there, and my first thought was, this goes against both their characters. Did he present it to her? Did she present it to that? I couldn't find either one. To me, it's highly unlikely that either one would say to the other one, hey, let's go to marriage counseling. And the other one goes, yeah, let's get there. That's going to fix our marriage. So that seems to me almost a little bit like, well, maybe not really woke, but very progressive for an old-time gangster like Kingpin and his wife, who's also from the streets, kind of. So yeah, I mean, marriage counseling. Okay, whatever. Now, I didn't like the two episodes per se. I will say I just when I was about to give up, the last scene of the second show gave me a glimmer of hope that they might actually be moving in a direction that might intrigue me. But that was it. I mean, you'll see the scene in the diner right now. They're two talking, and it's, it was such a weird conversation. It was almost like two kids in a schoolyard. Well, I'm watching you, and he's like, yeah, I'm watching you too. Yeah, there was nothing constructive there. Also, Kingpin is also brooding, by the way, and he doesn't talk about his feelings very much either. So, to me, there's just watching two guys moping around, sulking around. Kingpin seems to be very much diminished. I guess they diminished him in Echo. I did not see Echo. I do not plan to see Echo. I've got more important things to do in life, like clean out my sock drawer, than watching Echo. But of what I understand, they did emasculate him in that, and I think it shows here quite a bit. He doesn't strike fear like he used to. So yeah, I found that to be kind of I don't know, anticlimactic. I mean, there was nothing here that I really enjoyed at all. The dialogue was bad. The character development was poor. I didn't like the CGI. Like I said, the end scene gave me a glimmer of hope. But at this point in time, I'm very disappointed. I would, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give this a 6. And I'll change my mind if they can bounce back from the first 2 episodes. That's fine. But I was very disappointed, and I think I might be the only one that I know of that actually doesn't like this. So maybe it's just me. But yeah, I was not a big fan. So anyway, that's a take from Reverend Bill. I hope you liked this. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. If you got any comments, send my way. And apart from that, I guess I will talk to you later on. Thanks. Have a great night.